Good morning and welcome to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in our community. We're bringing you this show live daily weekdays at 9:30 a.m. with your host, me, Maddie Muschin. Before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone here on the Splash Live, an educator, student, business, or organization from our Greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. If you would like to submit entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen and fill out the Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why you think they should be recognized here on the Splash Live for our Person Week. Now let's go check out what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. The first events we want to look at are the West Bloomfield Township Public Library virtual events. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library are hosting a ton of fun and educational events for residents of West Bloomfield in all age groups. Today at 11 a.m., they will have their virtual preschool smart money class, where your child will learn and get introduced to the importance of money management. Here they will take part in hands-on interactive stories and activities that will help them learn about the use of money and how to save it. This program is limited to the residents of West Bloomfield, and this program is recommended for ages 3 to 5 years. Also tonight at 7 p.m., they're having their very popular Reader's Choice book discussion, where you can come and discuss what you are currently reading with your West Bloomfield residents. Here you will be able to talk about the books that you're reading and get recommendations from others in a fun conversation held through the library. For these events and all other virtual events at the library, you can register on their website at westbloomfieldlibrary.org. Something else that is ongoing at the library is your ability to rent out those great literacy and tender topic kits to help your child with their literacy skills and ways to learn about tough topics that are happening in our community. You can rent out a kit of your choice by stopping into the library or calling the Youth Services desk to reserve one that you choose. The last event we want to look at is the Sylvan Lake Garden event. This Thursday, April 21st, the Sylvan Lake Garden Club is inviting you to an evening of learning of how to use native Michigan plants to support the declining pollinator populations, create healthy yards, trails, and lakes, as well as minimizing rain runoff and flooding. This event will be held by Erica Kleitz, the director of the Oakland County Cooperative Invasive Species Management. This event will be held at the Sylvan Lake Community Center, and there will be a social time starting at 6:30 p.m., and the presentations for this will start at 7. If you have an event you would like us to feature here on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, I'll be talking with Sylvan Lake Historian Helen Jane Peters, but before that, if you have driven down Orchard Lake Road, you will notice the beautiful new building that is under construction. The new West Bloomfield Middle School has been a major construction project since 2019 and is set to open up for next year's school year. We got to take an inside look into the building and talk to Senior Project Manager Erin St. Dennis about some of the great features that will be included inside the building. Let's go check it out.
After a lengthy construction process dating back to 2019, the West Bloomfield Middle School project on Orchard Lake Road is shaping up to be one of the township's most prolific buildings. I got to chat with Senior Project Manager Erin St. Dennis about the building and the aspects of its design that will leave students' jaws on the floor.
We started construction out there in the fall of 2019, which began with site work behind the existing middle school, working storm drains throughout the site, and foundations followed that. Some key points were the eye center, which is in the center of the building. It's the wave that you can see from the roof structure. Very unique room. It's more like the library from our days. It has a learning stairs, which is a staircase that students can sit on and learn and collaborate throughout the day in that area.
Adjacent to the Eye Center are 2 courtyards that encourage students to get some fresh air, with another set of learning stairs and sculptures that also function as seating during breaks.
Students are going to be encouraged to sit out there and interact together. They will have artificial turf, which will look like grass, but it'll definitely be green and look very nice. We have trees in that area.
Exciting stuff! What other spots do you think students will love?
Another area that comes to mind is the Auditorium, a mix between an auditorium, which they can have musicals and performances. Then it also acts as a cafeteria throughout the day.
With so many wide open spaces, the new building promotes intermingling and cooperation between students and classes, allowing for bonds and knowledge to grow.
It's got classroom pods, I'll call them, on the first and second floor along the back side of the building. Each of those pods have garage doors which open up, and there's a collaborative space where all the classrooms can come together and collaborate throughout the day. And they're all very similar down the back side of the building, which is the west side of the building. They all mirror each other. Each one of them has a science area, and I'm assuming they would have social studies and other classes throughout each pod. But at the same time, it opens up very, very well, and each student will be able to interact with each other throughout.
Though the road to completion has been long, the results are beginning to shine through and really spotlight West Bloomfield.
It is a state-of-the-art middle school. It is a large school, like I said, but it doesn't feel that way when you go in there and you see all the openness and the collaboration that they have planned for each student in that building. I'm excited to turn this over to the community and see it grow. It's been a very enjoyable project, seeing it come from start to finish, and I can't wait to turn this over to the district.
If you'd like to take a look at the building yourself, Thursday, April 21st, the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation is hosting a virtual tour event with a 50-50 raffle, choral performances, and more. For more info on the event, go to wbef.org. Thank you to Aaron for talking with us, and good work on the building. Reporting for The Splash Live, I'm Calvin Brown.
If you want your own inside look into the middle school, the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation is hosting a virtual fundraiser on Thursday night where they can take a more in-depth look, and you can also donate for those great programs that they have there. For more information on this event, you can check out their website at wbef.org. Later on, we'll be taking a look at a very cool consignment shop here in Keiko Harbor that is bringing unique retro furniture to our greater West Bloomfield area. But before that, we'll be talking with Sylvan Lake Historian Helen Jane Peters. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine. To keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. Joining us now to talk about her upcoming history talk at Sylvan Lake Community Center is historian for Sylvan Lake, Helen Jane Peters. Talk to us a little bit about some of the things that she will be talking about at the Sylvan Lake Community Center happening next week. Helen Jane, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
So Helen Jane, can you begin with talking to us about the great history talk that you'll be presenting at the Sylvan Lake Community Center on April 28th? What will you be covering during that talk?
Well, we're going to start in the beginning of our history in Sylvan Lake. Last year in 2021, Sylvan Lake was 100 years old as a village. And this year, Sylvan Lake is 75 years old as a city. In 1947, Sylvan Lake became a city. But we're going to start in the beginning. In 1891, Merrill B. Mills purchased all the land that is now in Sylvan Lake. So we're going to talk a little bit about Merrill B. Mills. And then he built the Sylvan Lake Inn with a group of men. And they And the inn was there for 10 years, and then it burned down. After that, he gave the land to the Detroit Free Press to run the Free Press Fresh Air Camp, which was there for 55 years. And when the Free Press decided to stop the camp, having the camp, they donated the land to Sylvan Lake, to our city. It's 4 acres that overlook both sides of the lake, and it is just beautiful. And then from there, we're also going to talk about some land that land was donated to the Free Press first, and then it was donated to Sylvan Lake. But his daughter, after Merrill B. Mills passed away, his daughter received all of his holdings, and she donated what is now the property for the Sylvan Lake Ferndale Park. If you can see on this map, right along here is where, I'm sorry it's so shiny, they were going to have 13 building lots, and his daughter donated that to the city. And so that's where we now have Ferndale Park. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And a map that I just recently found, here we go, let's get it right side up. This is also Ferndale, where the park is, and there were 5 canals going from the lake to the road. So I'm going to tell how that became a park, a beautiful green grassy park where kids can, that's where our beach is, where people can swim, play games, play football, all kinds of things, picnic on our beautiful park. So I'm going to talk about that. Then let me see. Oh, I'm going to talk about a very special man that was special to Sylvan Lake. His name was Howard Wyden. He was on the very first city council when we became a city, and he had so many good ideas. One of them was to fill in all those canals so that we can have our park there. And another thing that he did was to stop traffic going from Telegraph into Sylvan Lake. He blocked off Garland at the end of the street where it would go to Telegraph. So that saved a lot of traffic in Sylvan Lake. So those are some of the things we're going to talk about. It's going to, if you want to come and socialize with your neighbors and bring friends, we'll start at 6:30. If the program is going to start at 7. And I'm asking the communities to send me questions, something they'd like to know about. And they'll also be able to ask questions during the program. And I'm thankful that Civic Center TV can host this. And anything else you want to know? Oh, and a lot of people ask me how long I've lived here. Well, I am going to show you the picture of the house I first lived in on Inverness that my parents purchased in 1938. And then then my parents built a house on Parkway and moved there in 1956. And Pete and I have lived, and our family, our 2 children, have lived in the house on Garland for 51 years. So I did go to college. I did teach out of Sylvan Lake. And so I have not lived here continuously since I was born, but almost. So anyway, so I'm going to tell a little bit about that too. So it's going to be fun. And I'm hoping this is just going to be the first one of many of these programs, because there's so many little interesting little things that have happened here. And I am very fortunate to have attended Whitfield School, and I'm still in contact with my Whitfield friends. In fact, we are now having a Zoom call with our friends on everybody's birthday. So that's about once a month. And we get to see each other. We get to chit chat about what we're doing and things like that. So it's just been a wonderful place to live and grow up. And I want everyone to know that.
And
so go ahead.
Helen Jane,
Do all the talking.
I was going to say for someone that is looking for more information on how to attend this great historical talk that you are doing, can you share with us how they can get that information and if there's any pre-registration or sign-up needed?
There's no registration, just come and enjoy yourself. Write down any questions that you might have ahead of time. If there's future programs you'd like to know about, just write that down and I'll work on that. And let me see. We are very excited that our little city is the second smallest city in Oakland County. It might be Michigan. I'll have to look that up. But if they want more information, they could call City Hall probably, or they could call me if you want to do that. I don't know if I should give you my phone number or not.
we can put more information on our current events when we do it.
Yes, okay. But just come, because you're going to learn something that you didn't know about our little city. And we are so fortunate to have so much history here. And so I'm thrilled to be doing this. And there's just more and more things that we can talk about. So I'm hoping this is the first of many little talks like this.
Well, Helen Jane, we are very excited that you are hosting these talks. And thank you so much for joining us here on the Splash Live to give us a little bit of insight into what you'll be talking about next week.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the good advertising.
No problem, Helen Jane. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too. Okay. Bye-bye.
Once again, I was joined by historian for Sylvan Lake, Helen Jane Peters, talking about that great historical talk that she will be having next week at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Last week, I got to visit a very cool boutique consignment shop in Keego Harbor that is bringing the retro feel of the 50s and 60s to our greater West Bloomfield community. Lay Shop 2, located off of Orchard Lake Road, has 3 floors of art and furniture that you can go check out at their showcase. Let's go take a look now inside Lay Shop 2. If you're a fan of fine art or vintage furniture, Lay Shop 2 in Keego Harbor is a place that you must visit for all of your needs. We talked to Terry Stern and Tristan Maltby of Lay Shop 2 about their auction house and some of the cool items that they have in store.
The background on the store is that our 2 owners, Julie and Deborah, decided to open a consignment store with literally no experience in any retail, and it was just such a great concept that it really blew up. And they started with the 2 of them. I think we have almost 10 or 12 employees even now, and they started with clothing, doing vintage clothing, and they found that they would take a piece here or there from a home and started selling the furniture, and it just turned into this 18,000 square foot warehouse now.
So our auctions are all online for the most part, and we specialize in furniture, fine art, lighting, these huge art pieces like this mural that we're standing behind by Tristan Eaton. Mid-century modern furniture. We had a really rare 1950s Eames cabinet that broke an auction record. It sold for $48,000, and then plus the buyer's premium. So that was really exciting. And so yeah, we do quarterly auctions. So we have auctions every 3 months about. So our next one we're gearing up for the middle to the end of summer.
We are a one-stop shop, so we do the appraisals. So we have clients that come out and want to know the value, so they're moving and they need their artwork appraised so that it can be shipped. They want to know the value so they can sell pieces. So we come in, we do appraisals for the clients, help them with if they want to sell the pieces, if we can do an estate sale for them. I have the highest accreditation in the country. There's about 800 appraisers. I'd say 400 of them are in New York, so there's only a few of us in this area that can actually do donations. I do volunteer work for the DIA. I do their donation appraisals. So when a client gives a big donation, they don't have to pay to have the appraisal done.
Definitely come visit our showroom. We're open 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday, 12 to 5. And something that that we just opened is Le Shop Remix, which has almost a our clearance items there, but also some really fun finds.
It's pretty much 75% off.
Yeah.
What we do to change the inventory is after 3-6 months, if it's not sold, we lower the price and then we move it over to remix. So it's a great opportunity. We like to call it Le Shop for All because it's very affordable and everybody can, like you were saying, college graduates can come in and buy a gorgeous couch. You know, the furniture from the past was way better put together than it is today from like IKEA or Target. Not dissing those companies, but you know, we have bedroom sets that are older than most of us that are working here, and they're
It might just need a little bit of love or reupholstering and things like that, and just a new life. That's what we love, like for these furniture pieces and art pieces, to have a new life and a new home.
If you're looking to get your piece of art appraised or want to visit their upscale mid-century modern retail showroom, make sure to check out Le Shop 2 in Keego Harbor. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschin.
Thank you again to Terry and Trista for giving us an inside look into Le Shop 2. For more information on how to visit them, you can visit their website at leshop2.com. Joining us now for our weekly health and wellness segment, where we talk about tips and advice from an expert, is Gayle Taub, personal trainer, nutrition coach, and owner of Gazelle Health. Gayle, thanks so much for joining us again this morning.
Good morning, Maddie. Thanks for having me.
So, Gayle, we have talked before about figuring out what is best for each person on an individual level and seeking out proper information. I think today we could touch a little bit about workout trends and common mistakes that people are making when working out. So, Gayle, what are some of those common mistakes that you see when people make when they're venturing out into working out and getting healthy?
Yeah, so, you know, physical movement, physical exercise, again, very different for every person. And starting with the approach that you take, the kind of exercise and the difficulty or the type of level that you decide to start at is super important. And a lot of times does not work long term because you're probably not in the right zone for yourself. So, you know, when you're thinking about the approach that you want to take, there's a few things to keep in mind. Number one, when was the last time you actually regularly exercised? And how did you do it before that worked really well for you? Knowing full well that you're older now, you're different, whether it's a year later, 6 months, or 10 years later, you got to find something that feels right to you and good to you. Once you kind of have an idea of what you want to try, whether it's a group class or whether it's working out at home or with a private trainer, be very careful to beware of advice from people that are trying to help you perhaps, or trying to share what they know but don't know you. And so taking advice from people in the gym or people that haven't even asked you a question and are just observing and trying to help is probably not a good idea. They may or may not give you good advice, and you may or may not feel good about trying it and coming out on the other side with things that work for you. Again, with the approach, the third thing to watch out for is how quickly are you giving up? Or how quickly are you continuing? Is it the right thing for you? Are you an aggressive worker-outer? Are you someone who enjoys stretching or needs to work up to a certain point? So first and foremost, like I always suggest, think about yourself, avoid looking around, and pick an approach that works for you, at least to try. Outcome-wise, so let's say you find something, right? The actual exercise that you're doing should be appropriate for you, and it should be building into something stronger for you, whether you're learning how to do a proper squat and a little concerned about that or unsure, never having done a squat, or maybe you're someone who knows how to do a squat and wants to crank it up a bit and learn how to increase that intensity or type of exercise. So make sure that you are building up as opposed to starting all the way at one distance and expecting yourself to do what's right and expecting that outcome that you're looking for. Challenging but doable. That's a really good phrase to keep in mind. Something is difficult and challenging, but it is totally doable for you. You feel good after. And how you feel after is really important. Is it overwhelming? Did it feel great? Did it energize you? Were you a little bit sore? Pay attention to the way that you feel, the kind of work that you're doing, and then you have the opportunity to shift and change as time passes and you want different or more.
And Gayle, for people that are looking to avoid some of these mistakes when they are venturing into their health and wellness journey, what do you suggest for getting the proper information, avoiding people on social media that may be thinking that they have all the tips and tricks, or for those people in the gym that are just observing and not answering any questions? Do you have any advice on where people can get that proper information?
Yeah, start with a professional. So if you're at the gym, ask about their personal trainers. Maybe 1 or 2 sessions might do it for you to learn a little bit and to make sure that you're doing things in a way that makes sense for you. Remember a few weeks back, whether you saw that segment or not, taking someone's word for it that they know what's right for you is not a great way to find the right person. Look at their credentials, ask them questions, and my goodness, if they don't have many questions for you or ask you to move for them, to show them so that they can evaluate, I would beware of those folks. Maybe they mean well, but maybe they're not the right person for you, or perhaps they're not even qualified. So you should have some questions. They should certainly have some questions. And before anybody recommends anything to anybody, watching you move will be a perfect baseline for a professional trainer to be able to guide you appropriately next. So if those things don't fall into place, maybe think about someone else.
And Gayle, the perfect example for a personal trainer and nutrition coach is you. So how can you give us some information on how our viewers can contact you to get that advice and to have that initial conversation about their health and wellness journey with you?
Sure. I have a website. It's coachgayle.com. You spell my name Gayle. So it's coachgayle.com. You can message me through there. You can also see some of the things that I'm up to, and there's a really good photo gallery and some ideas about what it feels like for different people. You can see different situations of me working with people, a little bit of my personality too, and give me a call. You can also reach me at 248-885-1400. And I would say, guys, listen, the hardest part sometimes is that first step. You have it on your mind. You think you want to call or at least explore talking to me or someone else or stepping into that gym. Take that step, guys. It gets so much easier once you start to have that confidence. So give me a ring. There's no strings attached. I would love to meet you and hear your story, ask you some questions, and see how I can help.
Well, Gayle, it's always a pleasure to have you on the Splash Live. Thank you so much for joining us again and giving that great information to us.
Thank you so much, Maddie. Have a great day.
Thanks, Gayle. You too. Once again, I was joined by personal trainer, nutrition coach, and owner of Gazelle Health, Gayle Taub, talking a little bit about some advice to get into your fitness journey. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you again to Helen Jane Peters and Gayle Taub for joining us this morning on the Splash Live. A special thanks to our Zoom producer, Jared Clark, for coordinating the Zoom and making sure our guests joined us. As always, a big thank you to Calvin Brown, our board operator and director, for making the show possible each and every morning. And thank you for joining me as we explored all of the people and events in our greater West Bloomfield community. As always, you can make sure to tune in live on Civic Center TV Monday through Friday to catch up on what's going on in our greater West Bloomfield community. For all of our friends in Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Keiko Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Maddie Mushton. Thank you for watching The Splash Live.